You know, most people think that all digital cameras are the same. Same features, same buttons, same size. That must mean they take the same picture, right? Well, no. One of the reasons you move into a camera like Fujifilm's X-M1 is something that it does that pretty much no other camera can do. That's that wonderful control over color and tone. Yeah. You know, the sensor inside this camera is the same one that we use every day in our big pro camera, right? You know, I'm not the kind of photographer that likes to spend hours in Photoshop fixing files after a photo session. Instead, I like to take advantage of one of the things that I find really attractive in Fuji's cameras. That's their superior control over color and tone. If you want big, bold color, got it. You want soft, subtle color? No problem. Do you want tonality that's really smooth and elegant? No problem. You want, probably, my opinion, the best black and white digital in the world? Fuji's big X-Trans sensors. In both my client photo work and my personal work, I like to experiment with bold color and beefy contrast. So let me show you how I set up my Fuji cameras to get that kind of rich, colorful look. First up, let's get an easy setup going on the camera. I'm going to choose aperture priority for this. And when you punch open the menu, you'll see that I'm going to go with auto ISO and the large 16:9 file size. We're going to shoot fine JPEGs, and I'm going to go with the auto dynamic range. Now watch what happens when I take a picture. Well, nice shot, right? We want a little bit more color. So I'm going to go back into my menu button. I'm going to scoot on down to the color item. Then I'll go right and I'll go up to high. That's +2. Now, of course, anytime you want to use my favorite button on the camera, right? The little Q button down there, that's your quick menu function. And you'll see, what do you know? There's a +2 color. How did that get there? You can go through the menu to access things like color, tone, and we're going to talk about film simulation in a second. Or you can use the quick menu and find most of the things you're going to need right there on that quick menu. That's how I do it. Well, take a look. Here's with a +2 color. You can see, look at that. There's the first one. Here's the second one. See a little more color, right? Terrific. Now let's get more color. Let's get different color, and let's get more contrast. Let's get that look that we used to have when we shot slide film back in the 80s and 90s, right? Well, let's look at the two images we have so far. There's the original, and there's the one that's +2 in color. Let's go a little bit further down that road and let's add more color, a little bit different color, and let's change the contrast. You know, when I started working with Fujifilm, it was before digital cameras. They had transparency film that was the best in the universe. One of them in particular was a kind of a slow speed film that had brilliant colors. It's called Velvia. And guess what? The folks at Fujifilm put a Velvia film simulation mode on the X-M1 as well as the larger pro cameras that I use every day. So let's go over to the Velvia mode. You're going to hit either your quick menu or use the menu button. Scroll on down to film simulation. There you go. Then select V for Velvia. That's going to give you the big color that you need. Now, if you want to modify the level of color even in your Velvia film simulation mode, just go right back to that color adjustment item. Sure, hit the Q menu and run over to color, or go ahead and hit the menu button, scroll down, you'll find the color there. Minus is going to reduce the color saturation, plus is going to add some more. Anytime you want to modify the color in any of the modes on your Fujifilm camera, just go back to that color menu item and use a positive number to increase your color saturation and a negative number to decrease your color saturation. Let's take a closer look at some of those film simulation modes. We'll start off with standard, which is that, standard, normal looking, regular color, regular contrast. But if we make one little click to the right, you got it, there's my friend Velvia. That's going to be higher concentration of color, a little more contrast too. If we go one more click, we're going to get to S, which is actually soft color. That represents a film called Astia we used to use to settle down colors, make nice, smooth looking skin tones. One more down, we're going to hit B, and that's for black and white. Now, these are available for you in many of the modes on your Fujifilm camera, and I got to tell you, I use them all the time. Let me show you something else. I've got one more trick up my sleeve when it comes to taking advantage of that gorgeous big Fuji color. Let's go into the advanced mode up on the top mode dial and hit your right arrow button in order to be able to get into a series of advanced filters that will make your pictures look like you spent days in Photoshop on them. And you know, some people think that these are lame. They're not. They're pretty terrific. One of my favorites is Toy Camera. That's going to allow us to have darkened edges, and it's going to tweak that color, make it a little funky. Gotta tell you, if you want to shoot something creative, this is a great way to go. Then, another one that I use a lot, of course, is Pop Color. That makes the color really jump, doesn't it? Feel free to experiment with all the different ways to manipulate color and that beautiful black and white on your Fujifilm X-M1. For more info, head over to Fujifilm.com.